The flashing red and blue lights cut through the quiet afternoon like a warning from fate itself, forcing Daniel Harper to pull his old, worn-out sedan to the side of the road. His hands trembled slightly on the steering wheel, not because he feared the ticket, but because the back seat held the only thing that mattered in his entire world. His 6-year-old daughter, Lily, fast asleep, her tiny fingers wrapped around a broken doll he had promised to fix weeks ago, but never found the time. That moment felt heavier than it should have, as if something far bigger than a simple traffic stop was about to unfold, something that would change both of their lives forever. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unexpected ways life brings people together, take a moment to like this video, comment below where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories that touch the heart. Daniel stepped out of the car slowly, his mind racing through all the bills he hadn't paid, the rent that was overdue, and the endless nights he spent juggling 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. Life hadn't been kind to him. Ever since his wife Emily passed away 2 years ago after a sudden illness, Daniel had been both father and mother, trying to fill a void that could never truly be filled. Every morning started before sunrise, every night ended in exhaustion, and in between he carried a silent weight that no one ever noticed. The police officer approached him, her boots crunching softly against the pavement. Officer Rebecca Collins was known in her department for being strict but fair, someone who followed the rules but never forgot the human behind the mistake. As she glanced at Daniel, she noticed the weariness in his eyes, the kind that didn't come from a bad day, but from a hard life. While she began writing the ticket, her gaze shifted briefly to the back seat, where Lily stirred slightly, her face soft and innocent, untouched by the harshness of the world her father was fighting every single day. Something about that image lingered in Rebecca's mind longer than it should have. Daniel stood there silently, expecting nothing more than another fine he couldn't afford. He had grown used to life being unfair. He didn't argue, didn't explain, didn't plead. There was a quiet dignity in the way he accepted his struggles, as if he believed that speaking about them would only make them heavier. Rebecca hesitated for a moment, pen still in her hand. She noticed the small details, the faded shirt Daniel was wearing, the slight tear near the collar, the old shoes that had clearly seen better days. She noticed the way he kept glancing back at the car, not out of impatience, but out of concern. Then, almost without thinking, she spoke words that surprised even herself. She told him that if he weren't married, she might have added her number along with the ticket, her voice carrying a lightness that contrasted with the seriousness of the situation. It was meant as a small attempt to ease the tension, a simple human moment in an otherwise routine interaction. Daniel looked at her, confused at first, then something in his expression shifted. There was no smile, no embarrassment, just a quiet sadness that spoke louder than any words ever could. He gently told her that he wasn't married anymore, that his wife had passed away, and that it had just been him and Lily ever since. The air seemed to change instantly. What was once a routine stop became something deeply personal. Rebecca felt an unexpected weight settle in her chest. She hadn't meant to cross that line, hadn't meant to open a door that carried so much pain behind it. Daniel continued, not in a way that sought sympathy, but in a way that simply stated the truth. He spoke about long nights when Lily cried for her mother, about mornings when he didn't know how to braid her hair but tried anyway, about missing work because she was sick and then worrying how they would afford groceries that week. Every word was calm, controlled, but filled with a depth of emotion that was impossible to ignore. Rebecca listened, her perspective shifting with every sentence. She saw not a man who had broken a traffic rule, but a father who was fighting a silent battle every single day. A man who had lost everything and was still standing, not for himself, but for his child. She looked down at the ticket in her hand, then back at Daniel. For the first time in a long while, she questioned the line between rules and compassion. Slowly, she tore the ticket in half. Daniel was taken aback, unsure of what to say. Moments like this didn't happen in his world. Kindness had become a rare thing, something he no longer expected. Rebecca didn't stop there. Over the following days, something about that encounter stayed with her. She couldn't forget the look in Lily's eyes or the quiet strength in Daniel's voice. She found herself wondering how they were doing, whether they had enough to eat, whether Lily was smiling. One evening, after her shift, Rebecca made a decision that would change everything. She reached out, not as an officer, but as a person. What started as a simple check-in turned into something more, a connection built not on pity, but on understanding. Daniel was hesitant at first. Life had taught him to be careful, to guard his heart. But Rebecca's sincerity slowly broke through his walls. She didn't try to fix his problems overnight. Instead, she became a presence in their lives, someone who showed up, someone who cared. Lily, who had grown used to the absence of warmth beyond her father's love, began to smile more. She laughed louder, played longer, and for the first time in a long time, there was a sense of lightness in their small, struggling home. Daniel started to feel something he hadn't felt in years: hope. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. The bills didn't disappear, the struggles didn't vanish, but something fundamental had changed. They were no longer alone. Time passed, and the bond between Daniel and Rebecca grew stronger, not rushed, not forced, but built on moments of quiet understanding and shared resilience. It wasn't about replacing the past, but about embracing the future. And one day, as Daniel watched Lily run across a park, her laughter echoing through the air, he realized something powerful. Life had taken so much from him, but it had also given him something unexpected, something beautiful. Just before we reach the end of this story, I want to ask you something special. If you've ever experienced a moment of unexpected kindness that changed your life, take a moment and share it in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone who really needs it today. The truth is, sometimes the smallest moments carry the greatest impact. A simple traffic stop, a few unexpected words, a decision to care. These are the moments that shape lives in ways we never imagine. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness still exists in this world, please take a moment to like, share, and comment. Your support helps these stories reach more people who need hope, who need to believe that even in the darkest times, light can still find its way through. Because in the end, it wasn't about a ticket, or a mistake, or even a difficult past. It was about two broken paths crossing at just the right moment.